We're live. Look at that. We're live. Look at that. Look at that.
Oh my God. We're so
Yay.
Great assistance on that by Winona J. Fox in helping creating that background. Thank you very much, Winona. I'm the Love Doctor. This is the Love Doctor live stream. Look, people are already tuning in. Please just mention in the chat where you're watching us from. We have the fantastic Winona J. Fox is with us. The fantastic Kaya Koko is with us. Both of you looking deadly tonight. Thank you very much for being part of the show. What? Sorry, did my hat bump you? Was that something?
Yes.
Did it bump? It's like a slight titty bump with the hat.
With the hat. This hat gets more action than I do, thanks to COVID. Miriam is saying, I guess it's hello from me and Celine.
Hello. I read it as chalo, but it's not chalo.
You know, there's so many accents to way things can be written, and it's fantastic. For those of you who are watching, we're going to be answering your questions about love, sex, and relationships. You can just put your questions into the chat. We can also, if you want to do it anonymously, there is an anonymous way. Which I forgot to update.
Well, you should do that.
I am doing that right now. So there it is. You can go to Slido, and the event code is hashtag TLD53. You actually don't need the hashtag, but they just do that to make sure that people know it's the event code. TLD as in the Love Doctor 53. 53 of these episodes we've done. That's more than like one a week for a year.
I was going to say that's as old as you are, but I don't know your age. You could be a Benjamin Button person and be a child right now.
Well, you know, there was a little while that I was telling people that I was actually the bastard love child of Aphrodite and St. Patrick, which would have meant that I'd be about, 682?
Is that in a parallel timeline where the two? Neil Gaiman probably has some thoughts on that.
I mean, if you're exactly. 682, you're old enough for Winona and me.
Oh, it's funny because we like men who are far too old for us and can warp our sense of reality. It's so funny.
I love daddy issues.
Bruh.
At that point, I think it's ancestors issues. What? That's a little far. Welcome to the Creepy Show. We watched a creepy video before we got started. If anyone's wondered, that I think this is where it's all coming from.
It got us in the mood.
Maybe that's why Kaya was like, "Oh my God, yes, it was so good. It was so good." Like leaning in, like really leaning into it.
Oh, breaking my heart here. All right, Danny DeBelfe is saying, "What's up, Doc? Hello, wonderful humans." There we are. Denny Leger. Hey, everyone. That little kitty cat is there looking for scratches on the ears and all. We got some questions. I should probably bring up the question. I haven't poured a fucking drink yet. What are you two drinking?
Yeah. I'm drinking beer like the good lesbian that I am.
I wish I'm drinking water. I like the good bisexual that I am. I don't
know.
Yes, getting crazy. Gonna try and be in bed by 10 p.m. tonight. I set an alarm and everything. It might go off during the live stream.
Ooh. There we are.
Ooh, that was a sexy noise.
That was the popping, and I spilled some. Fuck's sakes. All right, I don't have it.
Just splashed everywhere for you.
It splashed everywhere.
Yeah. So that's the usual reaction for you, huh?
Splashing everywhere. No,
yeah.
At a certain age, you begin to worry about it getting out at all. So it's all. By the way, I've got my jab, so I'm very happy about that. That's been a week now that I've been poked. So it should be generated into my system halfway enough, but I still need the booster shot, but not booked until August for that. So,
congratulations on getting stabbed.
We are very jealous.
We are so jealous. Oh my God. I can't wait to get stabbed. Yes. Oh my God. Just stick it in me already.
I have a lot of comedian friends. I have one who has a tattoo of Bart Simpson on his skateboard mooning people. And he asked for, and they did put the needle in a particular place. So the little round sticker for the Band-Aid, that's what they're called, over it was
on his butt,
basically making it safe. 63 Des says, "Congrats on the job. Thank you.
It's
Thank you."
Des.
I was gonna shame your friend for having that tattoo, but then they went and did that, and now I'm like, you know what? Any judgment I've ever had about that tattoo is now completely gone. That's the best tattoo you could have ever gotten.
Exactly. Danny DeBelfay say they haven't been poked in a long time. So
yeah.
Keep the standards. Keep the standards. That's what we're gonna say. Where there is, this is still so hard because I need to make sure that I'm not a transmission vector for people. So I'm still wearing the mask, still washing the hands, doing all the things that are right until we can get a majority of the population is been made safe. Now the thing is, what I got, I wouldn't recommend for either of you because I took the AstraZeneca. I know because it has the side effects are more apt to happen with women, but there's still the side effects there's less of a chance, or there's more of a chance of birth control pills giving you the same effect. So
and please. You know what? COVID will probably give you a blood clot more easily than AstraZeneca. And you know what also? Pregnancy is more likely to give you blood clots than the birth control pill, but
yeah. A lot of things can give you blood clots. It's almost like we're focusing on the vaccine giving us blood clots because we don't, like, there are certain people who just don't want to put things in their body that they're not comfortable with, and they're having that conversation for the first time instead of listening to minority groups who've already been through it, and so they're very confused and angry. Please get vaccinated. Please get vaccinated.
It shouldn't be a pick and shoot. It's like it's not like an a la carte when it comes to vaccines. I know. Right?
Please get vaccinated. Vaccines have historically helped significantly more people than they have harmed.
Well, the thing is, even the anti-vaxxers are going to get COVID once we are reopened completely, because it's going to be so prevalent, and the people who have got the vaccine are going to be out there mingling and all that. So. All right, let's get started on this. So if everybody's going to get it, it's just having the vaccine will make it just a milder form for the most part. Let's get out there and start seeing some of the questions that we have here. So if you want to ask your questions anonymously, you just go to slido.com and the event code is #TLD53. And we got a number. So we'll start at the
we have so
bottom.
many.
We'll start at the bottom. All right. So what's something dominant to whisper in my partner's ear? Winona.
Oh, I'm suddenly put on the spot. There's so many dominant things you can whisper into a person's ear. You could go with the classics. You could go with like, oh, aren't you a good girl? Aren't you a good slut? Or good ex, good prince, however gendered, non-gendered that you want to use. Praise is a really dominating thing you can do. If you compliment them and they hate being complimented, that's something that could really work.
Kaya.
As someone whose top thing on the BDSM test is degrading kink, anything degrading does the job for me. That's all I have to say.
Right. You don't want to give anybody any hints with that as well. All right. Do you think that's good enough?
Ooh.
No.
That's a good one.
So that's something to whisper into the ear. There's all these different things, different ways, of course. Definitely praise, degradation, and acceptance, and also challenge are all good things to be whispering into your taunts.
Taunts are very good. Taunt your partner because they'll get real mad at you, and anger and horniness go hand in hand. They smush. They smush very well together.
Smush very well. All right.
Yeah.
We're doing like that. They smush very well. All right.
I was going for scissoring because I find this like kind of what is this? That ain't shit. This is way more fun.
The black gloves over the black top, though. It's like the blacklight puppetry, except all we can see is the rings.
I'm a floating head.
You're
I'm
floating
a
head.
floating head and floating jewelry. It's kind of fun.
There is. Oh, hold it. We've got one come in. Danny DeBelfer.
Your dad did
Danny
it.
DeBelfer, you are my favorite person in the world right now.
They are such an old friend. They found pictures of me and John Cusack. Well, I showed them pictures of me and John Cusack, and now they're jealous. But
Who wouldn't be?
of John Cusack or me? All right, I'm just gonna set that. All right, no,
Obviously.
there we go. There's the compliments of just go. I fished that pond dry. Apparently, Lusty Onyx is saying the most pretty trio. There we are. Thank you, Lusty. We're gonna move on to all right, the next question. If are you ready for this?
Yes.
Am I?
All
I
right,
don't
I'm in the
know.
hot seat. Here we are. Is it just me, or has the breeding kink gotten hotter? All right, it's just you.
Yeah.
No, you know what? It's something that I've seen more of online nowadays. I think with the fact that people have been locked down for a year, that the more dangerous behavior because you're only living in fantasy is much more acceptable to them. Winona.
Well, here's the thing. I actually know a lot of people with breeding kinks, and they're great. Sorry, I had to adjust my camera there. But they're great, lovely people. It is a totally valid kink, and I think it's an actually very natural kink to like fantasize about getting someone pregnant because that's how our whole species, like the survival of life. It's pretty cool. I personally do not like the breeding kink. This is partially due to some sexual trauma that I experienced. I didn't have a pregnancy scare. That wasn't it. I'm just putting that out there because someone is going to inevitably think that. However, I think it's great that people want to explore their breeding kink in a role-playing, healthy way. Good for them, and more power to them for owning it. Like, seriously.
Healthy way is very key. Good point, Winona. Kaya.
I don't know if it got hotter because I've always found it super hot. I'm just gonna put that out there, but I don't know. But maybe the effects of the pandemic, maybe one of those is an increase in breeding kink because increase in horniness and such.
And such. The lockdown has definitely affected people.
Yes.
We get a definitely Etienne is saying hello.
Hi, Daphne.
Beautiful.
I miss you.
One hello for all of us. Cheers to Slanche to you.
The only Libra that I like.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
I
I didn't know she was a Libra.
think she's a Libra.
Oh, what if we're wrong?
And Danny, I suppose with the picture there, I should be able to out you. I hope. I really do. Felicia Raid is saying hey to Karma, to Miss Kinky Karma. So there we are. And I think we're ready for. All right, hold it. No, I want to before we get to this next question. I want to adjust something that happened over the fantastic Lust Cove show. I know I sort of I get well. I was in the Zoom as the Love Doctor, but when I donated, the somebody else got thanked for it because I realized that's how the name comes up on the PayPal. And there we are. Daphne is saying,
Yeah.
but I got called a gilf. I had to pause for a second. Did I hear that right? A gilf? Like I've heard you call me a dilf before, but like have I been upgraded to grandfather? Is that?
Oh my god, did I say gilf?
You said Gil. Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
Okay, I'm not the only person who heard that.
The gilfs are sexier than dilfs. It's like,
Yes.
as my grandma always told me, the older the better.
Yo, Kaya, was your grandma a hoe? Because my grandma was a hoe and I idolize her.
I think so. I'd like to believe so.
Fair. I mean, I only know so much that my mom has told me because my grandmother died before I could get to know how much of a hoe she was. But based on the stories, I can conclude that my grandmother was a hoe and supporter of hoes. And
I love
I
that.
want to live on in her memory.
I love that.
Boom. The next question we have is, what is your type? Kaya, you're in the hot seat.
Why do I always get this question? What is my type? I don't know. I find that depends, but I feel like my standards are so fucking low at this moment. Like I just want the fucking bare minimum, and it seems to be difficult to get. But I don't know, someone who's just really caring and I don't know, like physically or mentally, I don't know.
The two can coincide.
The two can coincide. You can have two different sets. You can have multiple sets of what is your type.
When it comes to men, I find I tend to like men who look like they're gonna fix my computer a lot of the time. I don't know. I like glasses, and things like that. Little academic boy types. When it comes to women, femmes, non-binary, I'm like I'm a lot more open. But with men, I'm a bit pickier.
It's all right. It's my turn on this. We just got Lusty saying cheers to the hot grandma. I don't know if she's talking about Winona's or me for being the gilf.
I think she's talking about me because I have called myself a hot grandma many times before.
And Felicia Raid is saying gilf equals silver fox equals the love doctor. You know what? I'd hoped to age into being a silver fox, but I'm more of a copper capybara.
Capybaras.
Aw, they're like giant guinea pigs.
They're adorable.
Basically,
I want one.
they help out other animals during the Amazon rainforest stuff. They were like gathering other animals and taking them away from the fire, or putting them in underground burrows so they'd be safe.
Activist queens.
I love them.
They are.
Amazing.
So I'm happy to be a copper capybara, even if copper is closer to bronze, which is sort of third place compared to silver, which is second. My type.
Winona and Kaya, we know.
Yes, that's exactly
Only
why
two.
you're here. That's the only reason I've ever. No, intelligent people, intelligent women who own up to their desires. That fucking turns me on.
So Kaya and Winona.
Yeah, Kaya and Winona.
That's
Definitely
Winona.
follow into that. I feel I do try to be age appropriate for the most part, but I have broken that rule. I don't seem to have a physical type. I've been all over the map on a lot of things, but every time if I'm with a woman who makes me feel stupid, yeah, I'm smitten. That's it.
Oh man. So I'm like not the opposite of Kaya, but like I am specific. Like I'm super picky about men, women, anyone in between for the most part. When it comes to men, like I'm really into like scrawny, nerdy, like dad types, basically.
Yes.
And that's if they're my age, because 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be attracted to someone like a good 10 years older than me. And like when it comes to physical traits, it's not even like the physique I think about. I think about like brown hair, big hands, and a big nose, and like facial hair, and like that's it. Like I don't think about what they actually look like. And when it comes to women, I'm not really attracted to feminine women. Like I want to be, and I have been attracted to feminine women. But anytime I see a butch woman, I get so happy. And I'm just like, hi, yes, I would like to introduce myself because I think you're pretty and also very handsome and you look good in a suit. So I just think, I think women who dress like men but are still women or still identify as women, I'm just like, yep, that's what I want. I'm into that. I am super into that. And that's regardless of like, yeah, that's basically it.
I do want to point out that you said, it's not based on the physical attributes, but I like brown hair, big noses, and big hands. Those are physical attributes.
I meant more like there are women who describe men as like a specific type, like a gym bro looking body, like the way their body looks. I'm not really concerned about how their body looks. I just like what they. I just like those certain
big hands.
things. The big hands. If they have big hands, I'm like, and a face I'm not really attracted to. Usually, I'm like, okay.
And, all right, Daniel J says if he meets a cat lady who knows how to keep her fur nicely coiffed, I'm a smitten kitten. So there we are. So we have a furry in the house.
Not a cat lady, a lady cat.
A lady cat.
Lady cat. Sorry, I dyslexic that in my head. All right, Danny DeBelfe is saying, "Oh my God, I love big noses and big ears, and my friends would always laugh at me. Like my first crush was Ben Stiller. Yeah, baby, give me those ears."
Yes.
I want to point out these are not satellite dishes. They're close in size, but look at that lobe. Look at that. Can you see me flicking? Like, you can hear it.
Yes, all the better to nibble on. I don't see the problem. I don't see
Nibble.
the problem here.
This isn't a nibble. This is a full meal. Look at the
That's
size
fine.
of that thing.
That's
You're
fine. Chomp down on that. It's better than biting a pillow.
I love me a white collar villain or villainess. So there we are. Cruella de Vil as followers. There's just all right. Should we do a little bit of disclosure beforehand? They got to see me doing an audition as a villain. Before I think it's a villain. I'm not sure if it's a villain or a red herring, but it was. How would you describe what the audition that you saw without giving any details because there was an NDA involved?
Oh fuck. I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say then.
Yeah. If your lips are sealed, our lips are sealed.
All right. So there we are. It's definitely. I don't think it was a white collar villain, but he was definitely some villainous tones.
It was okay. Actually, I will say it was villainous. Oh, the way I literally described it was, you look like someone who could kill a child, but probably isn't interested enough to kill a child to actually kill the child. Like, it's not enough of a challenge to kill a child. So yeah.
Like kind of like the kind of person that your parents would say if we're neighbors, like, don't go drop off the sugar to them. Like, I will do it for you.
I thought you were going to say they look like the person in a neighborhood that if they turned out to be a killer, you would say, oh, they look so normal. But that's probably not it. I just thought you were going down that route.
Miss Kiki Karma saying the classic Bond villain, just to clarify. And Lustiano saying, I'm so like Kaya. I'm super into nerdy guys and all kinds of women. There are super just to clarify.
Slide into my DMs.
There we are. And you can also don't forget why isn't that running right now? You can ask your questions to be heard, but you can also help support the channel by going to the link tree down below. Anything that gets donated will be split among the three performers you're seeing on screen.
Yes.
We haven't heard from Christopher yet tonight, which is a little odd. I hope him and Bashak are well. Let's go on to the next question. How do you navigate interracial dating? How do you navigate interracial dating? And Winona, you are in the hot seat.
I mean, so like, let me break some things down first. Most of you can see that I have very light skin. So generally I don't have too many problems with dating white people. That being said, I'm still South American. And my experiences are very different from those of white people, even white people who don't feel like they are represented by white people. And I have, unfortunately, felt like I couldn't express my culture to the white party for fear of them not being interested. And generally, it's just like once you learn from those scenarios, which suck to be in, you kind of just realize like, okay, what's more important to me, my culture or this mediocre white person who clearly doesn't care? And that's something that I'm still unlearning, because I am still kind of afraid to engage with my own culture on a personal level and in a level with my platonic and romantic relationships. But overall, I generally just try to remind myself that nobody can tell me who I am, which is a thing that I've been reminding myself since day one, and that is I need to put myself first. So yeah.
I think if you're a person of color dating a white person, okay, because it can be very exhausting, okay? Every relationship that I've had with white men, especially, because I actually haven't really dated white women because racism, but also it's like either racism where it's like they reject you, or like you have the racism from white men where it's like fetishization. It's like, what do you do?
Mm-hmm.
So with white men, this is what you have to do. Don't fucking waste your energy trying to educate them on things, and just maybe guide them towards resources. But trust me, a lot of times you might waste a lot of energy trying to educate them on something and trying to tell them about your trauma, and they will minimize it. So you know what? Don't even bother with that. If they're not going to listen, first of all, you should probably throw them in the dump truck. But if they are willing to listen, I'd say just guide them towards resources, and don't feel obligated to give them all of your emotional labor, because it's not really your job to do that. Like, you're already exhausted most of the time. So just be like, hey, like, here's a book, read it.
Exactly.
So that would be my main piece of advice, because I see too many people of color exhausting themselves to educate white men, when in reality those white men just want to play devil's advocate, or they just want to dismiss your experiences and all that. So just don't deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even get them a book, make them buy the book.
Exactly. I want to add to that, because like I just mentioned that I am light skinned, and that's something that I would need to be aware of should I date someone who's darker skinned than I am. Like I can't I can sit here and be like, yes, I'm a person of color and all these things, but I do not have the same experiences as a person who's darker skinned than me, and I should not like expect them to teach me how to navigate my own biases and unresolved conflicts and assumptions just because I'm dating them. You know what I mean? And the same goes for people who are white and lighter skinned than me. You know, it's a fucking like tier, and everyone's on a different tier, and you got to recognize when it's your job to like step down to their level so that they don't have to like force themselves to come up to yours just because you have more privilege than them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There is Jesse M. Laura M. said yes when Kaya Koko was talking. Daphne Etienne said, you know, listen and watch your privileges, which I highly agree with. I said before, it's intelligent women has sort of been a bit of a driving force. So I've dated across the ethnic spectrum pretty heavily, and when my first wife was of East Indian descent, and I had a friend come up to me and say, because they knew my dating history, came up and actually said, "What are you trying to do? Fuck the world." And I had to like address that with them, as in like, dude, it's like the people are people. It doesn't matter what shape or color they come in, and you like, I can't believe that, like, to have that as a friend, have that just kind of casually come out of their mouth. At the same time, her parents loved me. I'm still friends with them. I'm still friends with her, but I'm still friends with their parents. Like, I was apparently the first person to call her dad sir once he had come to North America, and he had never experienced that in his time living in Quebec, to have somebody call him sir, and do it with respect. So you know, just acknowledge people are people, treat them as people, and if there was one point where I began to feel the pressure from outside was my wife had been out with her friends having a few too many drinks, and she fell down and broke her wrist. And for the 2 months afterwards, where she wore a cast when we were in public together, the dirty looks that I would get from white people were amazing. Like how dare you kind of thing. And then the looks of like that bastard that I would get from brown people was completely different. Like there was two different. Both of them were, automatically assumed that I was abusive, but at the same time, there was a different tonal shift of what I would see from white people, what I'd see from brown people. So these are the different things. Just treat people as people, because that's what they fucking are.
Yeah.
If I was to say anything more on the subject, Danny is saying, I'm always continuing to learn and understand how present my privilege is, and how to better learn and educate myself to be a responsible ally to the BIPOC community. And that's
Hell yeah.
all we can do. Amplify voices, don't speak for them, is one of the harder lessons to learn. 10 out of 10
God,
to Kaya.
yeah.
Respect first, definitely. Winona J is saying, I suggest travel to other countries to rid yourself of many prejudice, or just talk to others of their ethnicities, to work or at social gatherings, to see that we're just different flavors of human. Christopher Murtaugh says, Sante, Sante as well, and amen, Mr. Doctor. Just working a little, just arrived, just working late. All right, welcome, Christopher.
I also want to add to bystanders of people who are seeing interracial relationships from the outside, don't fucking comment on them to them. Don't go up to them and be like, oh my God, you would have such beautiful babies. Don't go up to them and be like, I support this. My parents are South American immigrants. And when I was born very white and very blonde, and people would come up to them and be like, yo, where'd you adopt your child? Like, without pretense. It's like, don't do that. If just leave them alone. Let them be happy and in love. Don't impose yourself on them.
All right. Granted, so my first wife, when we first started dating, before we decided not to, she was all about beige babies. Beige babies was that was her keyword. Beige babies. She wanted beige babies. But her sister was living in New York with her husband, who is of Norwegian descent. Like he was as white as, say, Casper. He was nearly
like the ghost, or like Devon Sawa from the movie.
Like the ghost, as in like
Okay.
almost translucent hair kind of
Okay.
person.
Gotcha.
And she was in a Barnes and Noble, and their first child was being a bit fussy, and the person at the cash actually went and said, "Oh, you're having a rough day with the nanny today." Yeah, and so she did say, "Excuse me," at that point. That was something. So yeah, please, the person apologized as soon as they realized, but at that point it's a little bit too late making assumptions. Lusty missed earlier when we said what we were drinking. She's curious about what we're drinking right now. Winona, you have your water.
Yeah.
Kaya, you're drinking beer.
My lesbian drink.
What type of beer are you drinking? Is it imported?
I think it's Sapporo. It was the only thing that was in my fridge, so
Sapporo.
I'm usually more of a snob. I'm like, oh, it's not a white stout, so I don't want it. But I'm like, I'll take what I can get, I guess.
A cheap little bitch moment.
Mm-hmm.
Jameson and PowerPoint. That's what Christopher's drinking. PowerPoint. You're drinking PowerPoint. I've got. This is a mug, but in that mug happens to be a little bit of this stuff. That's the Madison Park, who still haven't fucking sponsored me. I don't know why I'm saying that. But there we are. COVID, eh? There we are. I'm just, I was reading today because I got very drunk the day I got the job about the interaction with alcohol.
Oh, fuck.
And the job. So this, I think I'm still covered. I'm going to trust I'm still covered. Where were we on these questions? Oh, that's a brutal. All right, here comes the next question. Why are you single?
Fuck. I feel like I got this question before on another episode, but
Always check the back episodes. Go back and watch the old
Yes.
episodes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But
Go
I'll
increase the watch
provide.
time.
Yeah, I'll give you a refresher. I am super, super irritable. Okay? Like, if you breathe next to me, I'll be like, can you please stop? I'm just, every little thing irritates me. And I know it's a me problem. And it's something that I have to work on because obviously people can't help but breathe, you know? So I need to work on my irritability. I don't know where it's coming from. And as long as people keep breathing, I need to learn to be okay with it. So that is why I am single. Yeah.
What a beautiful response. I'm single because I'm a Pisces. Let me break it down. I am on two opposite sides of the spectrum always. I either require so much attention or I want to be left completely alone. And I often, what I really want is for someone to just be able to read my mind to know which mood I'm in. So I don't have to tell them. Because I already have to deal with having to manage my own feelings and the feelings of other people in my everyday life, that I don't want to have to manage my partner's feelings, even though it's my responsibility as someone in a relationship to be able to tell them, like, hey, this is how I'm feeling and this is what I want you to do when I'm feeling this way. But I don't want to do that because that sounds like a lot of work, and I just want them to intuit what I'm feeling. So that's why I'm single.
So we just discovered Winona J. Fox's type is the amazing Kreskin. We just need somebody old enough to explain to her who that is.
Yeah, someone please explain, because I don't know.
All right, Daphne Etienne is saying, have you ever tried necromancy, Kaya? They don't breathe.
You know what? That might be a good idea.
There is, oh my God, Fams. I love you so much. The best Pisces and Gemini.
I'm a Taurus!
You're a Taurus! I was going to say, you're not even a Gemini!
Everyone thinks I'm a
Gemini.
Gemini. Everyone thinks I'm a Gemini. It's so funny. I'm like, listen, I'm just mentally ill. Don't insult me.
I'm a Gemini who's born in the year of the rooster. So, like, I'm an introvert, obviously. Oof. That's why I'm wearing the sunglasses. There is, why am I single? I'm single right now because it's COVID. I'm not seeing people. I can make connections over short periods of time, but it's the work of keeping them going has always been so difficult. And maybe I give good first impressions, but carrying them on is a little harder.
We all just checked our own red flags, which I'm very proud of us for doing.
We're toxic queens.
Yes, but we still deserve love.
There we are. The next question coming to the board is, has race ever affected your attraction to another person? Oh, that puts me in the hot seat.
Get canceled in 2 seconds.
Not consciously. I look, I grew up in a very homogeneous society. Like, my first time in Montreal, on the bus, I was the first time ever I kind of recognized I was the only person without brown hair on a bus. And that had never happened before. Like, and the fact that I was the only person without brown hair on the bus, like, that sort of, like, that was all right, this place is different from where I grew up. Like, because that was sort of a recognition point. But other than that, I see beauty in a lot of different ways and a lot of different things. So it's not going to be a main attractor to me in any shape or way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I don't really, I can look at somebody, see that they're attractive, but I don't become really attracted to them until I talk with them. Kaya.
I'd say, like, as a young teenager, being a mixed race person, and growing up with the white side of my family rather than the Asian, there was a lot of racism within my family, and I think I internalized that a lot as a young teenager. And I was like, oh, will a white boy ever love me? And then after I realized that's ridiculous, obviously, and I realized that I was internalizing a lot of these things that my family was feeding me. And also I was seeing on my Asian side, a lot of people were dating white men. So I was like, okay, I think that's just the norm. But now that's definitely not a factor. Race is not, well, I'm a bit scared of dating white people, I'll be honest, because of the things I mentioned and all that. And it can be really emotionally exhausting too, and dealing with fetishization and blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to people of color, I'm like, yes, I want that POC love.
Lusty I wanted to clarify that she knows that you are a Taurus, Kaya.
They called you Maya.
Yeah, I know, they
like,
corrected that a little
Kaya.
later.
Okay, yeah.
Maya Momo.
Yeah.
You act like a lovely Gemini, that's why. She did correct it, Kaya.
There we go.
We got a lot of comments have come in. I just we'll get to this in just a second. Daniel J is saying, I think racism is often taught in our home countries, who tell us that other countries are unsafe and less advanced than our own. But Canada is a multicultural country. I don't understand. Like, Canada should do better than everybody can do better. But when you travel, you tend to see that many countries are just as great as yours and often better in some ways.
A lot of people who travel also perpetuate racism.
Oh yeah.
The sociologist Kaya is coming out.
I wanna address that because again, growing up South American, I took a trip to South America in high school. It was a humanitarian trip, and by the end of the trip, and I was the only South American person there. And by the end of the trip, I realized, like, we weren't actually here to help anyone. We were here to make my white peers feel better about what they have at home. This is like poverty porn, basically. And it was very distressing, knowing that I had contributed to that, and no one seemed to understand that it was as distressing as I realized. So all this to say that you can travel and still perpetuate problematic behavior. The question being, the question was, has race influenced
has race ever affected your attraction to another person?
Yeah. So my relationship with race and attraction is kind of interesting, I think, because I see people and I can I have histories of like being attracted to people, not necessarily based on their skin color, but like there's a correlation between their skin color and how often I've been attracted to a certain person. I noticed that I am instinctively attracted to white men and instinctively attracted to women with black or brown skin. And I wonder if that's some internalized racism of like, we bring up the white men and we fetishize women of color, because maybe that's what I grew up being exposed to. Not to say that I haven't been attracted to men with dark skin or black skin and white women, but just that's what I notice comes up the most. So I kind of agree with Paul that like it really, like, I'll only really truly be attracted to someone once I get to know them. Because that's like, I can like, there's a part of my brain that'll go like, oh, they're attractive, but true attraction for me doesn't actually happen until I feel like safe and comfortable with them.
There's an exotic nature that will kind of grab your attention first, but it doesn't really pass more than a first glance.
Yeah, it's interesting, and it's something that I'm trying to better understand and like, you know, make sure that like I'm not engaging with it in a way that is like promoting anything dangerous or like, what's the word? Like untoward. Like I'm only attracted to them because of the color of their skin, because I haven't, like, that's what I grew up with, et cetera, et cetera. Because then there's the flip side, right? Of people being like, oh, I'm not racist, but I would never date a black person, or I would never date so-and-so. So I feel like my concern is like, if I'm on the flip side of like, I'm only attracted to people with certain skin colors within certain gender types. So that's something I'm trying to better understand about myself and make sure that I'm just like, you know what? I'm attracted to them based on their skin. That's okay. If I'm going to pursue it further, maybe like just be aware of that and all these things. Like be aware of those things.
I have had an uncomfortable experience of being with somebody that somebody I had met a few times and whatnot, and we went to hook up, and they were a person of color who then said that they were into race play, and I felt very uncomfortable. So at that, it's something that they like. I like to please my partner, but at that point, that was a bridge too far, if I could say something, because I did not feel attractive. I would not have felt attractive participating in that. All right. Lusty is saying, I know that you are a Taurus, Kaya, but you are also sweet and supportive as a Gemini, and that's why they said that. Bashak is saying, is Kaya Koko saying she's never dated a white dude?
Oh, no, that's not what I'm saying. Actually, my opinions on white men come from the numerous amount of white men that I've dated. My longest relationship was with a white man.
Christopher thinks you've never dated a white dude.
Yeah, no, I have. And
Same.
as my best friend, who's probably watching right now, says, I feel like one day you're going to marry a colonizer. And I'm like, please, God, no. Please.
If I can shout out right now, I just want to mention there's a fantastic podcast called Uncolonized, and it's hosted by comedian Gavin Stevens. He has guests on there, and another comedian, B Black, is his co-host on that. They cover a lot of topics, and they're hilarious. Bashak is laughing very heartily. I think partially at what was said here, and also at Christopher. And Miriam is also laughing out loud.
That's my friend who said that I'm gonna marry a colonizer.
Ugh. That's like me marrying a man after probably falling in love with a woman. It's fine.
Oh God.
Look, you know what? If you have an open marriage, then there's no problem. You can be in love with multiple people. Okay.
Fully plan on it.
And Christopher Tar saying, I heard Bashak laugh out loud from upstairs on that colonizer thing. So there we are. That has hit home for a number of people. Our next question being, I read once that birth control pills can alter a woman's personality for the worst. Is that true? No. Are women being enslaved to this mind-altering drug from a young age? Can I jump on this one first? Anyone
go for it?
Go ahead.
I just look. Your guest, I should let you go first, but I'm just going to say that Fox News is probably just as mind-altering as birth control pills can be. Go for it. I'd have more to say later, but
okay. So I'm going to say this. When I'm not giving ridiculous answers about my personal life, I'm actually a sex educator in my IRL life. So I'm just going to say birth control pills can have an effect on mood, but it can also better your mood in some cases as well. If you have severe cases of PMDD or PMS, birth control pills can do the opposite. And it's not fair to say that it's going to have the same effect for everyone. Symptoms really differ for each person. So for some people, such as myself, I'm diagnosed with premenstrual dysphoric disorder, birth control pills actually make me a lot happier. So to promote these ideas is just promoting sex negativity, I think, in our culture. Everyone's bodies react differently to hormonal birth control.
Preach. All right. Everybody is different. There's a lot of reasons besides, preventing pregnancy to take birth control, and it is not mind altering. It is body altering. If people are feeling less pain, that's a fucking good thing. So if we can make people's lives better through chemistry, then let's do so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you two just said. I'm personally someone who has been on the pill for 5 years of my life. And I took it when I wanted to start having sex, but I also mainly took it because I had really awful period symptoms. I was having an irregular period, a really frustrating, difficult period. for most of my teens. And when I turned 17, I decided I want to go on the pill for X amount of reasons. And it was super beneficial and super helpful. And I recently decided to go off of it just because I'm single and I want to see if my body has changed since I started taking the birth control. And yeah, there are a lot of pros and cons to birth control, depending on your mental build. Like if you have any diagnosed mental disorders, I had a friend who with depression and with like a hereditary mental dysfunction that I do not remember, or disorder, or what's the word? There is a better word for this and I'm not saying it properly, so I apologize.
For which one?
I would said disorder, and then there was another word that came to mind, but I do not remember.
Genetic condition.
Genetic condition.
Predisposition.
That's predisposition. That's the one. I was like, that's not the correct term. That is the correct term. Predisposition, where the pill really negatively affected them and really was not for them. And so that wasn't the right choice for them. And that's okay. Your health is important. And if birth control is right for you, that's great. If it's not right for you, that is okay. There are pros and cons to both.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to share a story that it took me a second when I first heard about it. Was a friend's sister-in-law had a very bad coughing fit. And I know coughing fits are very common now with people with COVID, but this was way before COVID. They had a coughing fit and actually had coughed out their IUD.
Whoa.
Wow.
Now, a lot of people are going to like shrug in their head. They didn't cough it out their mouth. It was just the contractions had caused it to come out. But the thing is, the first time most people hear that is they coughed so hard they coughed out their...
That's what I thought. I thought it had somehow come up and then just that, yeah.
That would be very impossible.
Very impossible.
Unless
See, this is
why
I am taking a sex education course so I can be better informed like you.
And it was like, when I was told the story, I said, but that can't work like that. And they informed. So Bashak is saying, Christopher and I are watching from different floors. I'm sure he's hearing my laughs from downstairs. I'm hoping that we give you plenty of reasons to laugh, as well as keep everybody educated and happy through all of this. Ev Lit is here. A surgically implanted device. I can't see how. It's sort of wedged in place, so muscle contractions can move it. And I can hear her cackling about the IUD now. So there we are.
But I do need to say it's very rare that an IUD will fall out like that.
Very, definitely very rare. Yeah. And it also can do a little bit of tearing damage if that is the case. So please,
where does the IUV sit? Because I actually don't know.
So right above the cervix.
Oh, so, okay. So like,
let's say the cervix is here, and then it goes up there.
So not like fully in the uterus, but like still quite far up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's say the cervix is here, and it goes like.
Oh wait, so because like IUDs have these little like notches, it looks like a V, right? So do those little notches at the end like hold it in place?
Flying V.
They should. Well, also because your cervix is kind of closed, so that should already be keeping the IUD in place. Except, let's say when you have your period, your cervix will open up a bit. Yeah. So it's just very difficult to see how an IUD can fall out like that. I know one person who pulled it out.
Pushed. Yes.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. But it should stay pretty securely because your cervix is kind of closed. That's why when you put in an IUD, they actually have to open up your cervix.
Yeah. With the clamps.
Yeah. And they usually say they want to do it while you have your period because it opens up a bit more.
Oh. Okay, because I guess I don't know why, but I guess I just kind of assume that it just floats. Like it just floats aimlessly, like like that thing where you have a traveling womb. You know how like when people would diagnose women with like traveling wombs if they were in any kind of bad mood. Actually,
the wires tend to sit a bit outside of the cervix as well.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
So even the nurse was saying, oh, like if you have penetrative sex, they might feel the wires a bit at some point.
That'd be great for me though, because then if there'd be like, if I was having sex with a cis man and they're like, I'm gonna go so deep. I'm like, okay, it's you want to risk it, sure. And they get a little poke, 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 poke.
Like, yes, secure my IUD in place, daddy.
It's part of how it works though. Is it sort of aggravating the uterus to prevent the egg from latching onto the wall? Is that correct, or is that an overly simplification?
So it's different for the hormonal one. It just releases hormones. And with the copper IUD, it's kind of along those lines. I can't give you the exact scientific mechanisms of the copper IUD, but it does somehow do something where it irritates the area. But once again, for that part, I need to go into the technicalities a bit further.
Yeah, that is the definition. That, like, it's been a long time since I've taken a sex ed course, but that was one of the things about it, was the fact that it irritates the interuterine wall, which prevents sort of like the buildup of the nutritional field where the egg would nest, and that is how that happens. Now, Bashak is saying the best birth control is snip your man. Snip your man.
Castrate him. No, I'm kidding. Don't do
it. I've just become control tone.
Don't do that.
Evelyn is saying, what? With scissors?
Yeah.
So the doctor has a special tool, but you should bring your own bag of frozen peas. Better yet, don't let yourself miss Bobbit. Just get a pro to do it. Highly recommend getting a professional to do it. That is also one of the reasons why we need to make sure that there is good healthcare for women across the planet, because backyard or back alley abortions were a thing for a very long time, and they were led to lots of dangers to women, and health should not be restricted. I need to say that. And just get the snip.
Yeah.
Is it wrong to have sexy kitchen time when you know your neighbor's watching through the window? You are in the hot seat.
Wait. Okay, so is it wrong to have sexy kitchen time if you know your neighbor's watching through the window? I think if you know your neighbor is watching in the window, that's when you should have sexy time, because two things could happen. The first is they get so grossed out that they never look at you again and you get your privacy back. Or the second thing is they get really into it and you have now established a really hot connection with your neighbor. So it's kind of a win-win depending on what outcome you want. So I say absolutely have sex in the kitchen when you know your neighbor's watching.
Kaya.
Hey, if they're being nosy, I mean, I'm an exhibitionist. Let's do it. I'm down. Mm-hmm. Maybe if they're a kid, don't do it, please.
No.
But if they're like at their window, go ahead.
Boom. All right. Yeah. The only thing I was afraid that wasn't going to be mentioned was mentioned. Just make sure that your neighbor is an adult. If they're obviously curious and you're okay with them being curious, then enjoy and understand it might change the dynamic of the neighborhood afterwards. And there it is. Bashak is saying, Love Doctor, you should let Christopher tell you his snipping story one day over many Jamesons. Which I think this summer there's going to be a chance to open up. Christopher and Bashak have mentioned that they want to have a barbecue for all the co-hosts that have been on the Love Doctor live stream at one time. And maybe if their kid, bust it. Yeah, all right, bust it, definitely. Well, don't bust if they're a kid.
Don't
please.
Have sex.
Oh God!
If there's a kid watching, children cannot consent. No.
No.
Please don't.
It's not worth getting on a registry for. There is next question is, I really like our mailman. He's very nice and we usually exchange pleasantries. I hope you tip them well at Christmas, New Year's time. But now he is away and his replacement is super hot petite mail woman. And I wish our nice mailman never comes back. Am I a mean person? I'm in the hot seat. No. Winona.
No. That's it.
Yes. No, I'm kidding. I just wanted to say the opposite of what everyone else is saying. But no.
A contrarian.
Exactly.
The
Devil's
thing,
advocate.
I do want to say you're not a bad person for sort of wishing your nice mailman never comes back. But if you actually conspire and plan to like blow up their plane as they're returning from vacation, or do something to get them fired, so you're now stuck with the new mail person, then yes, then potentially I would say that you're being a bit of a. I'm wiggling my fingers here. Just you're being a bad person. Just saying, if you want to get Machiavellian about the entire process of keeping the new male person.
I mean, like I say, enjoy the view as long as you have the view, you know? I personally think there's nothing wrong with appreciating hot people from a distance. If you want to get to know them, that's great, as long as it's truly with the intention of wanting to get to know one and not to stroke your ego. But if it's just to stroke your ego, just have a little fantasy. Having a fantasy is great. I see hot strangers all the time, and I'm like, what would happen if we had a meet cute and then went off to have a quickie? And that's okay. then I move on and I find the next person to imaginary bang, and then I move on. And again, we've established why I'm single. We know. We know.
Pisces has entered the chat.
Hi.
Evelyn is saying, this is like the pizza delivery guy, right? Just, it's a different film, Ev.
Somebody order a pizza with extra mushrooms.
Oh,
That's
God.
the quote, right?
It's
I like
sausage.
Isn't it sausage?
And it's sausage. I also wanted to be a contrarian. And also, I like mushrooms more than I like sausage, okay?
I like
mushrooms
food
as well.
more than I like dick. So I'm like, I want to associate it. Taurus.
You know what? This lockdown has been so long and hard. I fucking just want to get my lips around something. There is.
Same.
Kidding. All right. I'm not sure I understand this question.
I think it's
I highly recommend. Oh, okay. I highly recommend it, but highly discommend the butcher that performed it on me. I believe this may be in reference to Christopher's.
Sneep, sneep.
Snip. There we go. So the next question is: my birth control vasectomy has given me 0 mood changes, but has had 0 effect on PMS. Is this normal? Kaya, you're in the hot seat. I believe this is a little bit said for fun, but go for it.
You know, I always say this as a sociologist. I don't like saying what is normal and what is not normal. Normalcy is a construction. So you're fine the way you are.
Yeah, literally have nothing to add to that, mainly because I don't know how to respond to it because I am not smart. No, I'm smart. I'm like, babes, I'm a media producer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a sex educator. I'm not a sociologist. I don't know anything about the human condition other than we like shiny things and we like shiny things that are on screens. So you know what? If your birth control vasectomy is not giving you any negative health side effects, you're probably fine. That's all I can really say.
Oh, I thought it was a joke question.
If it is a joke question, then I still don't know what to answer because in addition to not being smart, I'm also not funny.
It is a little bit of a joke question because I'm pretty sure that somebody's vasectomy would not interfere with their PMS.
Yeah, that's why I was like, what? Huh?
I just said I don't know anything about the human body. So also
we've actually run through our questions at this point. We're already through all of our questions. If anyone has any questions, they can put them anonymously at Slido. Go to sli.do or slido.com. Either one works. And the event code is TLD53 because this is the 53rd episode of the Love Doctor live stream. So TLD, the Love Doctor 53. And that's there. So you could also just enter your questions in the chat. This has been a fun show, though. I've had a lot of fun. Have you two had fun?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. It's been my first time on the show in many months, and I'm like, I feel great.
You've had a very busy time period. That's the only reason you've not been on the show. You've been asked to be on the show several times, but we just haven't been able to make it work. I'm so glad to have you and Kaya. Both of you are sort of like the new guard among the burlesque vanguard. You're both producing shows online during this pandemic, which has been fantastic. So both of you, again, it's the real Kaya Koko on Instagram and Winona J Fox on Instagram. And if anyone wants to donate to help support the channel, it's just running down below. But we've got a couple questions have come in through the chat. Christopher is saying, well, I heard birth control makes PMS better. Someone sold me a bill of goods. Yes, but you know what also improves your life? Not taking care of a child that you don't have the capacity to take care of. You know, if a child is wanted, that's fine. All right, I'm gonna say something controversial at this point in time. For people who have difficulty conceiving children, who want to have children, who want to raise the next generation, adoption is an option if you do not have the ability to physically reproduce. So please do not be angry at the people who do not want to reproduce because they do not have the time or capacity or the want to take care of a new life. So please, there's a lot of children who are out there who need adoption, who need strong, intelligent, and open-minded parents who are going to listen to them as well as educate them to be fair and just in this world, because that's what we need in this world, is a lot more fair and just people. Soapbox. Sorry, I know I'm underneath you, the two of you, but I just stood on a soapbox. I hope you don't mind.
No problem.
Not an issue at all.
All right. Evelyn said, okay, I'll bite. Would the panel do Joe Biden? Joe Biden in the hot seat is Winona.
Okay,
He's
so
an older guy.
yeah, I was just because I was gonna say that. I was like, I mean, he's kind of my demographic. I would do Joe Biden, but I would specifically do the version of Joe Biden from Parks and Rec that Leslie Knope is like super attracted to, like, and she like makes a quilt of him. I would fuck that version of Joe Biden.
Would I? When I see the pictures of Joe Biden when he was like a bit younger, I'm like, oh.
You need to send me those pics.
Yes, but I'll be honest, I would so much rather fuck Bernie. Like, I would fuck Bernie anytime. I'd fuck him now. I'd fuck him like 20 years ago. I feel like we would be in like a sociology class together and he'd be like, I really care about women of color. And then we'd have a one night stand and then he'd never talk to me again. I just feel like he'd be that type of guy.
Would you fuck him with the mittens on?
Yes, I will fuck him with anything on. Like, he's my ideal.
Bernie goes down, right? There's
Bernie
There's
eats
no
pussy.
question that Bernie.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, if he's a feminist, then yeah.
I've made it my mission to not pursue, like, only pursue men who enthusiastically eat pussy, and I feel like Bernie Sanders would fit in that category.
But some of them become pick-me's, you know what I mean? Like those guys who are like, I need pussy, I need pussy.
Fair, but I would still rather sleep with those men because then I'm getting my pussy eaten. Like, it's still a win for me, even if I don't really like their personality.
But I feel like sometimes they're just like saying it to like get you to hook up with them. They're like, "Esto sur ma tête," and then like you go, and then it's like there's no asseoir sur sa tête happening.
Fair. If they're lying about it, if they're trying to score brownie points and they don't eat your pussy, that's not okay. Don't lie about sexual acts you have no intention to perform.
It's like the whole
it's not nice.
thing.
There's also the difference between eating pussy and eating pussy well.
True. That's true. That is fucking true.
Like, if you got like if somebody's there with the kind of the wandering tongue and they don't know what to do with it, like that's just slobbering over a crotch. That's not properly. Like, you need to like concentrate. You need to you need to make sure you get in there properly to do these things. Like, get that fingers underneath the chin.
Yes.
in the proper way with the curve.
Use your hands. I don't
I'm-
understand, like, especially men who eat pussy who don't want to use their hands. It's like you got
blame
two
porn.
beautiful things.
I know. Like, I'm
There's-
so good at eating pussy that when a guy is doing it to me, I'm like, okay, like, I don't
I
want
could
to
do
cheat
this
you right
better.
now. Yeah, I'm just like, okay, you know, like, you can't match me.
If you were here's the thing. The thing is, for a long time, the porn eating pussy was somebody like holding the thighs apart and going, just like even barely, just kind of flipping the like labia majora, not even getting near the clit, let alone putting any proper pressure on it.
So
And that was
like
porn.
licking the outer lips.
Not even licking, just kind of flipping, like if the labia stuck out a little bit, flipping that rather than getting in and just really concentrating where
It's
it
like,
needs
thanks for eating my lips.
I have rather large lips, so like I'm not gonna feel anything if you're just flicking at them with your tongue. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna be there like, all right, are you like
Like a
whispering
lizard.
into my cunt? All right, cool.
All right, I do have to say, oh no, I can't say this. Not to you. Not no. I'm too much of a dad here to be saying that. I'm not sure if I'm comfortable in saying what just passed. Like, because I had a joke in years past that I would say on stage about the fact of just. Should I say it? Well, let's go to the comments, and then if you people decide that I should say it, I'll say it. If not, Winona, if you don't want me to say it, you automatically have the veto over it.
I will say, I want to let the commenters know, I have referred to the Love Doctor as like a mentor of mine. So if you want to test that relationship, you get to decide that.
All right. So there's a lot of questions that have come up here. A lot of comments have come in. Let's get to that. All right. There is Misty is here. Hello, Misty. It's a super fun show. Sorry I didn't say hi earlier. Bashak is saying there's nothing controversial about what you just said, Love Doctor. It is great advice. Evlet is Joe is very handsome when he was younger. By the way, I don't think I would do Joe Biden.
Oh, that's true. You never answered.
I never answered that question. Bernie is a hottie.
Mm.
If it would get him elected, then I would probably do it. As president, sorry. Bernie, oh my God, please tell me no. Please tell me no. All right. Christopher Murtaugh saying, I'm very sadly a very cis male, but Bernie has earned at least a quickie if he wanted it. Evlet, now Kaya has to also date Larry David pretending it to be Bernie.
Hey, if
Larry
you
David was
remind me
Bernie
of
on Saturday
him.
Night Live. Curb Your Enthusiasm guy. That's who Larry David is.
Oh, is he the one played by Danny DeVito? I've never seen Curb Your Enthusiasm.
No, he is. Larry David is the person who was like the co-writer of Seinfeld.
Oh,
Who he is Larry David from Curb Your Enthusiasm, as in that he's the main character.
Got it.
He was George Costanza was based off of him.
Oh, that yes, I haven't seen Seinfeld in years. I really need to rewatch it.
All right, no, you don't. That image of the Love Doctor imitating the porn dude will never leave my head. Thank you for that. I'm very sorry, Bashak. I'm very sorry. Tell it to me straight, Doctor. I can't take it. We've only had one person request to have that said. I'm thinking it's better left not said.
Wait, why? Like, is it problematic? Is it nasty? Is it?
It's nasty. I don't think it's problematic, but I really don't want to make Winona uncomfortable. So that's why I gave Winona the
I will veto
power.
no. I will veto no for now, and we'll see what happens when the stream ends.
Backstage.
Yeah, backstage tea.
The after show portion of that. It's this is the only show that I do that has an after show that doesn't happen in front of the public. So be jealous, motherfuckers.
Yeah, be super fucking jealous.
A three-way with us.
All right, Bashak is saying I want to hear it too. Evlet is ha ha ha. All right. As a meat heavy omnivore, I'm all for meat. All right, that's enough. This is the look. Yeah, Winona's face kind of said that all. I'm sorry I brought it up. I'm very sorry I brought it up. We are at the end of the questions. We get no more questions in the anonymous portion. Just double checking that there's none in the wrong area. They are all in the right area. Misty Portugal is saying, not to be picky, but saying you're a cis male just means you're cisgender and comfortable in the gender you were born to in, right? You don't mean more hetero male. That is true. I would say that's true. So a cis hetero male would be for the full description. So Misty has changed her photo image as well as she's watching on YouTube. That's a great photo of you, Misty.
It is. But yeah, cis, if you wanted to talk about gender and sexuality, cis is gender, heterosexuality. We learn something new every day.
And Christopher is saying, yes, thank you. I meant cis and very hetero. Very, very hetero. It's sort of like, is that like a 42nd degree Mason or something? It's very hetero. Thank you. And Evelyn is saying, I thought the term is cis-het. It is cis-het when it refers to cis-het, but you can be cis and not het.
Yeah.
And this is all right.
Cis homo.
Cis. I say cis, not het. I just think that's. I don't know. I think it's cute. I also just say my sexuality.
Cis-bent? Yeah.
Cis-bent.
Cis-bent, I think it should be a good term. But this is the other thing. As long as you're treating people with respect, like getting the labels right. I've always. All right, can I be cancelled here? I'm about.
What
to say
are
something.
you gonna say?
You've been alluding to it. Go.
All right.
What do I have to correct you on again?
Be who you are. All right, that's my main thing I want to tell people is be who you are. Don't worry about what box you have to check off, or say what you are, or have the exact correct terminology, because there is so many fucking shades in so many different ways. You know, you can use those boxes if it helps you in identifying who you are to find your identity, but don't be trapped in a box. Right? Just be who you are, love who you want to love, be attracted to who you want to be attracted to. And if you need those boxes, you can use them and you can request them, and kind people will be nice enough to respect you and use them back at you. But don't feel that you need to fit into a box. Don't need that you need to feel that you have to, oh, well, I'd like to do this, but if I did that, then I'd feel like I'm sort of betraying my clique or my people. That's not the thing. As long as you're being kind to people, as long as you're being true to yourself, that is the only box you need to be in. So all the labels are great if they make you feel empowered, but if they make you feel restricted, then don't use them. Sorry, Kaya.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say something very like, what are people doing with the non-binary today?
I didn't think he was gonna say that at all.
No, I'm kidding. I don't expect that from the Love Doctor, but from what you were saying, I'm gonna get canceled. I was like, oh, what's gonna come out now?
I know that a lot of people feel comfort in being able to check into a box and feel comfort that they have a category that they can fit into, and I understand, and I can understand where that comfort comes from, but at the same time, I don't want people to be a slave to it. That's all I really wanted to say. I know that some people are very there's a lot of people who are guests on Fox News who are really good at nailing what each of those boxes are, but just because they can use the proper language doesn't mean that they are giving the proper respect.
Hell yeah.
And I think the respect trumps making sure the correct identification. Pat Oswald has a wonderful joke on it. If you can check out the comedian Pat Oswald, he has a wonderful joke on the subject. And yeah, I definitely would recommend him. He said it probably better than I did. Most of my friends are somewhere in the middle, and I have middle envy, but it's just not me, and that's okay. Misty is saying, yes, labels suck if you don't own it and truly identify with it, and change your label. It can happen at any time, no matter what your age. And I highly agree with that. So it's if you can, like, if you don't need the label, don't use the label. But if you need the label, do it. But don't be forced into a box or into a label that isn't you, just because it is maybe the majority of what you are.
Yeah.
Fully agree. I'm because like, and I say this, I'm someone who identifies as bisexual, and I love that label. But I am mainly attracted to masculine people, and I think there's a pressure on bisexual people and bisexual women to have an immediate attraction to their same gender, like 50-50. And that's just not how attraction works. I love women. I think women are beautiful. I'm not attracted to all of them, and I'm not attracted to all of the men. Sometimes I'm attracted to men more than women. Sometimes I'm attracted to women more than men. Sometimes I'm attracted to non-binary people, which is also cool.
Yes.
Doesn't make me any less fucking bisexual. So just fucking like own whatever works for you. Some people are exactly like me and don't like the term bisexual or pansexual. They're just like, I just like what I like. And I'm like, all right, cool. Do you like me? Great. Let's go in the back alley and fuck. It always comes back to how truly horny I am in quarantine.
I also, it's another thing. I really, because the two of you probably could speak to this a lot more than I can. But I encounter this attitude with a lot of the males who not that I associate with, but I hear this talk among males, is that if they date a bisexual woman, that means like threesomes are going to drop from the ceiling. No, that's not how it fucking works. All right.
Oh
A
God.
person who's bisexual, who's into you, is into you for being you. All right. It does not mean that they might, that they are, what's the word for it? 'Cause again, I'm fucking up because I'm old and I haven't learned all the labels properly. But they might be monogamous and they love you because of who you are, right? That doesn't mean that they want to have a third person in the relationship, because that's not how they are wired. They're wired for monogamy, and that's okay. And just be fucking grateful that somebody loves you for who you are, and accept that.
I always just say like, and I watch a lot of romantic comedies, and I ask this question aloud a lot. It's like, why can't you just like each other? Like, why is it got to be this whole complicated thing with like, oh, they like this other person, or like I'm not good enough for them? It's like, why can't y'all just like each other? And that applies to people in real life scenarios too, because I cannot tell you how many people I've like spoken with who get really confused about navigating the new feelings in ways that are not healthy. And I'm like, why can't you just like them? Why is it got to be a game? Why can't you just admit to yourself that you like this person and decide whether or not it's worth telling them that you like them? That's it. And I do it to myself too. I got to check myself often. I cannot tell you how many times I've tried to like fucking zigzag around my feelings. That never works. Ask yourself, like, do I like them? Cool. Do I want to tell them that I like them? Cool. And then you go on from there.
Kaya, do please have something that you want to add to that?
Oh no.
Kaya's like waiting for them to say something problematic, and then it never happens. No, I'm kidding. If there had actually been something fucked, well, we can all say problematic shit when we don't mean to. I fucking do it all the time. Like, call yourself out, call each other out. Make sure we're all trying to be good people.
Yeah, I think it's important for people to realize that everyone's in the process of unlearning things. So as long as you're correcting yourself as you go, you're never going to reach like a level of perfection, in terms of unlearning things that we've internalized. So
yeah. Evelyn says, I'm attracted to Charlize Theron, and if the Love Doctor's manager Paul Ash ever works with her and doesn't tell me, I will be upset.
Same.
So it's all right. I can understand that. The chances of that happening, I don't think he's that lucky, that prick. But if he ever does, we'll try to let people know, at least after the fact. There is, all right. You know what? This is not a question, but I'm going to ask this question because this is a little bit of self-realization. I'm going to see where you two are on this, because I've noticed something about, because we asked what our turn-ons are, but relationship what are some things in a relationship that you continually sort of fall for, that you're afraid isn't healthy, but may actually be healthy? It's something you have not corrected in your own in your own profile, if I could say that.
So wait, is the question? I think I misunderstood the question towards the end. The
And I'm not
question
sure.
is like, what are we? Is the question what are we attracted to in a relationship, or what is a relationship insecurity that we have?
What is something that in retrospect that you noticed in past relationships was an attractor for you that you didn't realize was an attractor, that may be problematic, but you're not sure if it's problematic? I will go first, but first Ev has something that they wanted to mention is Kaya, I have a present for you. Bernie is on Colbert tonight, so warm up the vibrator.
Oh, yes, I will.
There we are.
Thank you.
If I could say something that I've noticed, something, a through line that I can find in a lot of relationships that I've had is a vulnerability. The person who needs something. And if I feel that if I can come in and sort of fill that need, then I don't know if I want to say more wanted, but more needed. And that helps sort of build a stronger bond. That is something that catches me a lot of the times. And it has actually worked out into some wonderful relationships. But I do recognize it, and I sometimes wonder if it's a problem or problematic for myself. Kaya, you're in the hot seat. Do you have anything?
I think Winona and I were talking about this once, but it has to do with trauma bonding. So a lot of times I'd be very attracted to people who are very depressed, like I said, who have dead fathers, like I said in the other episode, people who have gone through a lot of bad things and who have a lot of mental health disorders like me. And that felt like safety in a lot of ways, but it was also not, because it was the only point of compatibility. And then that became a problem, obviously, because we had nothing else in common and the relationships wouldn't work out. So I'd say that just because you have shared trauma,
So
probably not a
comparing
good idea. Yeah, and I think I
and sharing
realized
trauma so you could empathize with each other.
exactly, and I thought I would feel safer with someone who is just as anxious as I am, and I realized no. So I think now that I think about it and that I've grown a bit, I need someone who's very calm. And it might seem boring at first, but it's not. It's just healthy.
Someone who can be an anchor. Winona.
Yeah. So earlier I mentioned that I either love attention or I need to be alone like 100% of the time. And I think I get really attached to attention in the first stages of a relationship. And when we inevitably realize that we're both people and we need our space, I get really insecure that they aren't going to give me constant attention, even though I don't necessarily want constant attention. So something that has been really helpful is that when I was pursuing a friend of mine casually, and we stopped seeing each other because of COVID, I did have like a kind of withdrawal of like, oh, I'm not getting the attention that I want from them. But I was able to tell them that, and they were very responsive and respectful. And now we're slowly in the process of reconnecting after having spent like quite some time apart. And it was actually very good. I enjoyed having that time apart more than I realized that I would when I was initially feeling very insecure about not receiving attention. Because I've had moments where I haven't received attention and it's gone really terribly. And I think those are just because the other person in question didn't like me as much as I thought they did. And also a combination of me, again, not owning my feelings and being like, hey, I've developed feelings for you and I'd like to explore that. So the two just clash. So that's something I'm going to try and make sure I don't forget when I'm pursuing my next like long-term relationship, that I'm not like getting addicted to the thought of their constant attention. And I'm like checking myself.
Boom. All right, we've been at this for 90 minutes now. I think it's been a fine show. We have no new questions. Are you fine tonight? Kaya, do you have any questions you want to bring up, or any education that you want to share out? Or Winona, do you have anything? And it was really weird because it looked like Winona was reaching over to Kaya.
It's like coming over to like give you a pat. No, I'm here to stay hydrated for my pretty skin.
I don't have anything to add. Aside from the fact that I have a show in May, but I don't know if that's per
yes,
se,
mention the show in May. Mention the show in May.
Okay, so as some of you know, I'm a mixed Korean person, and following what happened in Atlanta, I feel very affected by it, and also many other members of my community. So on May 15th, we're producing a show, mainly an all Asian cast, and the proceeds are going to go to an organization that supports Asian sex workers. So if you'd like to keep up with that, and if you'd like to attend, it's on May 15th, and you can see more info on my Instagram. It's called Lotus Candy.
So
that's a brilliant
the
name.
real Kaya Koko on Instagram is
co-host.
the Instagram to go for. Is this a Lust Cove production? Because you are one of the owners, co-producers of Lust Cove.
It is not. There are some people from Lusco, but this one is a bit more independent. I'm doing it with Azalea.
Azalea, which I can't spell easily. So we'll leave that. All the information will be on the real.kaya.koko Instagram. So please, if you're not already following Kaya Koko on Instagram, please do so at that address. Winona J. Fox, what do you have coming up? I know that you just finished exams.
Yeah, so I'm a free woman now, in case someone wants to slide into my DMs. Just
So
saying.
jealous.
I know. But no, so I'm actually so right now you can follow me on Instagram and on TikTok at Winona J. Fox. I'm doing something called the 60-second shimmy challenge, where I try to shimmy for 60 seconds straight. I'm currently on day 19, and I'm posting pretty much every day on TikTok and uploading to my Instagram Reels. If you would like to participate, please hashtag 60-second shimmy. That's 60 with the number 60-second shimmy, all one word. I'm also hoping to produce some more shows this summer, and I'm also in the process. I'm literally about to launch an online burlesque workshops very, very soon. So please follow my Instagram to stay updated for that, because I really can't wait to share this. So yeah.
So that's at Winona J. Fox on Instagram. There we are, and we've got a couple comments have come in here. Thanks to all the performers tonight for the show. Miriam is saying Lust Cove is the greatest, by the way. Definitely agree. Enjoyed the show. Lust.cove on Instagram. Evlit is saying thanks. We even got a spam comment that I'm not going to put on screen.
Thank you.
There we are. But thank you all for tuning in. I'm the Love Doctor. If you want to support the show, I didn't even mention this. Like, I got to send 2 of these out to Misty right now. But if you want to support the show, the link tree is down below. So it's linktr.ee/Paul Ash. That's my manager. The first thing is to buy a drink, and that gets split between all the performers that are here tonight. And the one of the people who donates to the show tonight is going to receive one of these wonderful Love Doctor live stream stickers. See that? It's all glossy and everything.
They're great. I have one on my computer right now, and it's easily like one of the better stickers on there.
I'm very happy with how those have come out. Misty is saying, thanks, everyone. Misty, you still need to send me your mailing address unless you're waiting for me to deliver it in person. Now that I've got the job, that could be a possibility, or soon will be a possibility. Thank you all, everybody. Love you all. Good night.